Join the Young Labour Stars and National Youth Vibe on Sunday, 17th August at Palm Valley in Grand Riviere, Dennery. Pull up for music, energy, and real talk. Bringing the vibes. Honorable Jeremiah Norbert.
Shelton, CJN.
Honorable Kenton Casimir. And our Prime Minister and political leader, Honorable Philip J. Pierre. Blazing the Labour Party stage for the first time. Our endorsed candidates, Senator Lisa Jawahir
for more progress
and Dr. Shanda Haraksing. You definitely don't want to miss our firebrand feature speaker,
Newport South endorsed candidate,
Mr. Danny Butcher. Vibes, and more vibes from DJ Pro Styles, General Biggs, Subbats, and our 2025 Groovy Monarch, Imran Nerdy.
Yeah, I go in everywhere.
It's a whole youth vibe with Labour.
Palm Valley, Dennery, August 17th at 3:30 p.m.
Be there.
Another hurricane season is upon us. Make this year different. Equip yourself with a backup power generator from JH Launchers Electric. We can source and supply any size, any type to your specifications. But the best part is we stock generators. No more long waiting and delays for your home unit. We proudly stock from 2,000 watts all the way to 26,000 watts gas and diesel generators. Automatic and manual transfer switches are also in stock. Visit JH Launchers Electrics today.
The man, the voice, your hero.
Why are you suffering from aches, pains, and illnesses? When there's help for you, at Health Service Center, we offer a wide range of treatment that has been scientifically proven to help you with your aches, pains, and illnesses. Our ICT machine is one of the most effective devices in the health field. It has shown positive results in many health problems, such as back pains, shoulder pains, migraine headaches, pain in the knees and legs, poor circulation, arthritis, diabetic neuropathy, numbness in the feet, strokes and sports injuries. ICT, repairs, rebuild, the power to heal, the future of pain relief.
The man, the voice, your hero is back. Raw facts, no fluff. Shelton Daniel is here to deal with the issues. Real issues, 12:30 p.m. to 2 p.m. Monday to Friday on Real FM.
To you, everyone.
The man.
Thank you very much for tuning in and staying with us. Welcome to another program of The Real Issues with me, Shelton Daniel, your host and producer, alongside our technical operator, Alton Jaquan Joseph. It is the 13th day of the month of August 2025. I'm without Terry Fenelon today. He messaged me this morning to indicate that he won't be joining me. I think yesterday before he left, he intimated that he may have another engagement to attend to. Can't be too sure of that, but we don't have him with us today. So Terry, wherever you are, whatever you're doing, I wish you the very best, successful at the engagement, and stay safe as always so we can have you in the studio with us once again. You know, I was going through, I often go to the Eastern Caribbean Supreme Court website, you know, to read up cases, especially those pertaining to St. Lucia. And I was looking through some of them, and I have to tell you, I didn't read it. I didn't have time to read it because I think I must have spent all the time since I saw the case. Its title, Laughing, you know. And guess what I was laughing? The name of the case is Bolum 23. I'm sorry, folks. I didn't expect that. Relating it to you all would have me in another fit of laughter. Bolum 23 Limited et al. versus Petrus Private Bank Limited. Now the Bolum is spelled B-O-L-U-M. Normally would spell it B-O-L-O-M. It has shot back to fame in terms of our local storytelling and our humor since Stephen Favrier brought it to the fore addressing a UWP gathering and saying that he had been warned about all the Bolums that they have in the politics of St. Lucia. And I'm looking at a case, Bolum 23 Limited et al. Versus Petrus Private Bank Limited. Now, the claim number, if you want to go and check it out, it always starts if it's a St. Lucia case. If it's Antigua, it's ANU. If it's St. Lucia, it's SLU. So, SLU, HCM 2023 / that is 0043. So, if you can just remember the SLU and HCM, think High Court matter, okay? It hasn't reached appeals court or anything, but SLU, HCM 2023 / 0043. The name of the case is Bolum 23 Limited et al. Versus Petrus Private Bank Limited. You know, people, I'm going to get to why I went onto a court matter first, because maybe politics just isn't a place that you want to reference if you're looking for scrupulousness, moral scrupulousness, ethical scrupulousness, impeccable honesty. Maybe politics is not where you want to look for it, because some people who pitch and sell and market and promote themselves on the basis of their integrity, their honesty, their morality, it appears like they believe that they can live double lives or multiple lives. So I'm a religious person, I'm a pastor, I'm a minister, I'm a Porto Legalese person. Well, I am impeccably honest and scrupulous, and I have that level of integrity in my church life, in my other life, family life, my business life. But once I go into politics, I am at liberty to take liberties. I am at liberty to essentially do some fancy footwork where honesty, etc. is concerned. And that is why many people have a very weary, very cynical view of politics and politicians and tell you they're all liars. They cannot be counted to be truthful. I'm sure there are those who are not that at all, but people can be excused for feeling that way because, and I've kept on saying so, it's not a personal attack on anybody. When this whole matter of abortion came up, and there were all the histrionics about it, and people were becoming hysterical and so shrill about abortion, they put in law, abortion, and it's you would swear that the whole of the revised criminal code, a voluminous piece of legislation covering so much of the laws in St. Lucia that were reviewed and revised and updated and upgraded, etc., that it was only about abortion. And it was, this is the sad thing about us in the world, it's so easy for us to become hysterical, especially hysterical over inaccuracies, untruths, things that are only a little portion is given to us, and we all hysterical about it, and say, sayo wep yo ka fe, abortion, yo ka encourager, yo ka se loi, pou moun sa jete hish, and you look at the actual thing in the criminal code. Abortion is still criminalized. It doesn't say any premier vini person can go and just, have an abortion or request of an abortion. It gives you the specific circumstances in which a person could request an abortion. There is a legal process. The doctors are bound by certain conditions. And you realize this thing by the time you get to proving all of it and giving the clearance as to whether the person was indeed raped. How do you prove somebody was raped? They just go and tell the doctor, I want an abortion before I'm raped? Because I was raped? Or because my father had sex with me and so the baby inside of me is born of incest? You just go and do that? And even when you say my life is in danger from this pregnancy, which doctor who has any regard for the law, for ethics of his profession, any sense of morality will just go and rip a baby out of you, or cut the surgical, however delicate it is, whatever, will go and cut a baby out of you or give you something to drink to abort because you say so, or the doctor has to be satisfied that your life is in danger because of the baby, you know. One of the things I'm aware of is that there are some strange situations in which a baby forms outside the womb, whatever it is, the wall of the uterus is leaking, so the fertilized egg of the woman, it gets fertilized inside the womb, but for some reason it passes through the vaginal or ovarian wall, whatever, and goes and starts growing in her abdominal cavity, something called an ectopic pregnancy, which will almost always result in the fetus aborting, you know, by its own spontaneous abortion, they call it, but the fetus will not survive because outside the womb does not have a placenta and the network of blood vessels for the nourishment, you know, and development of that fetus, whatever, and it can place the mother herself in great danger too. She's at risk of dying, you know. I happen to have had within the ambit of my family, I won't tell you how close, not too long ago, a female who had that problem. You know, her first child started developing outside the womb, ectopic pregnancy. What should the doctors have done? But that is a medical evaluation that had to be done. And she did not even need to go and get the baby removed. She had a miscarriage as a result of an ectopic pregnancy. But what if it had not miscarried, you know, and she had asked the doctor, or the doctor had said to her, we have to terminate that pregnancy, it's an ectopic pregnancy, there's a strong chance, the fetus will not survive and you will not survive if we allow it to go, and so on. I mean, all of those things were in it. And when you consider it, I looked at that part of the revised criminal code and all the noise that was made. And I said, whoever it was who drafted that legislation, they were very sly. They were very cunning. They knew that by the time you came to the point of proving rape, you know, which is a whole court matter, how can you say that it is her father who impregnated her? You have to do DNA tests, which took forever. If we remember the whole thing with the Verlinda Joseph case, that you had to do this and you had to do that and so on. You know, so many different things. If it was rape, how do you prove that it was rape? Except through a process of some inquiry, that by the time these inquiries were satisfied and justified, whatever the window of time during which you say an abortion is permissible, 4 months or whatever, it's long gone. But people went making noise because they had their little political battles already brewing, already roiling in their craw against certain people they wanted to go after. And so it was a matter that noise was made of it, because government change, Kenny Anthony was out of power. Damian Greaves, I think, lost the elections. He was Minister of Health at the time. You never heard those people take up that matter anymore. To my knowledge, this part of the revised criminal code remains on our books, despite all those who made noise, because it was a convenient thing. Get the public riled up about it, that say, jete yo kan encourager moun pou jete riche, you know, and then you take it a little further. Puis yo même savent ki mi si jeune femme, ki mi si riche moun, yo enceinte, et puis yo pa able tourner derrière, so yo vle encourager, you know, a whole lot of thing that goes on like that. It's the same way, you know. That whatever laws that they pass, they're passing it because, and the whole period poverty thing, say, sav yo sav, mod yo interfere kish moun. So, you know, the kind of ignorance that politics permits people, it facilitates people to get involved in. And so, at least in the case of that abortion law, and I've said it before, Sarah Flood is one of the pleasant people in my life that I knew and have a good vibe with her and so on from times and so on. Even after that thing and so on, we still say hello and but I could never understand how she made so much noise over this minute, insignificant, innocuous provision in the revised criminal code pertaining to abortion. She made it look like the whole bill, the whole revised criminal code was about abortion. I've seen it happen before. That's why you heard me, albeit belatedly, criticize Rick Wayne over the Verlinda Joseph thing and so on. Horrendous as it was, Rick Wayne did not permit the nation, his audience, the readers, the viewers of his talk program, whatever at the time, to focus upon the issues in the case, because at the time he had a beef with Petrus Compton, and the whole thing was about Petrus Compton. Petrus, Attorney General, incompetent. He's got a big mouth, a cavernous mouth, and ample lips, and he's like, Petrus me vle, encore Petrus me, ou Petrus me vle de, 10 jours avant il mort. And so the issues pertaining to this whole Volinda thing never really got to the fore, because one person is dominating the conversation so much and making it all about somebody. Up to this day, I don't know what was it between Rick Wayne and Petrus Compton that Rick Wayne seemed to have that rage, this absolute animus towards and against Petrus Compton. Same way, Sarah Flood. I've tried to figure out what it is about her Labour Party colleagues that Sarah Flood maybe had a beef and she found convenient, because all the time Sarah Flood was doing that law about buggery and so on, which was on our books, was apparently already there. It's an old law. And I'm saying, when we use certain public issues and we take public discourse only as a means of pursuing some kind of beef, some kind of vendetta, some kind of, bile that you have against somebody, what it does is that it smothers. What it does is that it obscures and obfuscates so many other things that may be in there that we need to look at. So many other things that we need to look at. And so right now, the latest thing that we can see developing is that people are going to use this recent ruling by the High Court against a law that was already on St. Lucia's books, which predated the St. Lucia Labour Party and, I think, the United Workers' Party by far. They call it a colonial era law. That was on our books, that we continued with it. Sometimes these things are there. Nobody pays attention to it. People just take it for granted that it's there and it serves a good purpose. If not, it will not be there. Until when it is challenged in court. A lot of laws on our books, if ever a legal challenge arose, a different view of them would be taken, a revised view, an updated view, sometimes a view that this thing does not belong on our law books in the present day and age in which we live. It is a good thing because it helps to do two things. It helps in the development of the law, so that you come to find out whether certain things which are on our books should be there, whether they are on all fours with the highest law of the land, which is your constitution. And the constitution as the highest law of the land. If any other law, which would have to be a subordinate law, a lesser law, is found to be in violation of, in conflict with, contradicting the constitution, then the general rule in law that the lesser must give way to the greater. So you may have a law that has been there that any man who is found to have, macko a woman in a bathroom, whatever, that he must be given, 3 strokes of Cato 9 or whatever, the fouet, however they call it and so on. And that's on the books. A few of us may know about it and we say, you're bien fait for you, sir, macko. But then it is challenged in the court that this is incompatible with various positions we have taken and other laws, and we have become signatories to human rights, which forbids severe and very harsh punishment and inhumane punishment, and using a cat o' nine tails for what? For a peeping Tom act that a man commits, that the punishment is so disproportionately severe to the nature and gravity, and consequence of the crime, and a court will pronounce upon it. And what we took for granted, the court will say, no, that law has no place on your books. It's incompatible with the various signatories that St. Lucia has become to, inter-American whatever on human rights and whatever it is, the United Nations law against torture and this kind of thing, and they knock it down. My friend, don't go and tell people it's the government of Philip J. Pierre that passed a law to take out the use of the fouet or the cat o' nine tails or caning or whatever. That's not true. That is not true. And this is what we are facing now. The hypocrisy and the fudging of the truth in order to create some emotional impact, some hysteric that you want to set loose among the people. At least in the revised criminal code, you can say that it was through a legislative process. That the government, the St. Lucia Labour Party government, led by Kenny Anthony at the time, and I believe having either Petrus Compton or Philip Lacobinier, one of them as Attorney General, Damian Greaves as Minister of Health, you can say that this was a process which went through Parliament, and the elected members of Parliament, the politicians, took a vote, took a stance on it, they debated it. You can say that. So you can put it at their feet. In the case of this latest law declaring that our anti-buggery laws are unconstitutional, that is not the result of any kind of legislative process undertaken by Philip J. Pierre and Leslie Mondesi and Ernest Hilaire and this, and that's not true. It is laws that were already on the books long before they, the Labour Party, the government, our constitution, whatever, a lot of things were imported into our laws. Our Constitution Order 1978 was done in anticipation and preparation for our political independence. There was no mass grand-scale review of our laws. I think the revised criminal code under which all this abortion brouhaha arose was something that came subsequent. There was no parliamentary motion or debate or action or bill that was laid for that kind of thing. It's just the same way in the United States. It was assumed that same-sex marriage was simply something that would not be considered, that it is anathema and whatever. And so maybe nobody went and did the necessary legislative revision and said, look, the way our constitution is written, should this matter of same-sex marriage, of men marrying men and women, we don't have a leg to stand on. Because the constitution, we are just assuming that the Constitution recognizes marriage as being only between a man and a woman, but it doesn't explicitly say so. There could be other things that we consider to be gross perversions, but if they are challenged in court, not just in the High Court, after the High Court it can be appealed to the Appeals Court, it can be appealed to the CCJ, and only when it reaches the CCJ can you consider it to be, I think, what the lawyers term it in the Latin, stare decisis. The matter is settled. You cannot take it any further. Or whether it is the other term called, is it Rex Judicata or something? Your final court has pronounced on the matter. There is nothing in a lower court. A magistrate can reopen it. So somebody maybe tell me whether the applicable thing is the stare decisis, S-T-A-R-E, by the way. It is spelled like stare, but it's actually stare. Decisis or Rex Judicata. The matter is settled. This matter of this same-sex thing, guess who defended against it? Guess who was sued? Guess who had to answer for the state and for the government? Who else but the government's chief legal advisor, not necessarily in person, but chief legal advisor upon the people that he delegates or his office delegates to deal with the matter in court? The Attorney General. The lawsuit was against, Randall Theodule, Vernon Bellas, United and Strong, Inc. I think United and Strong, the Kenita Placid, Jessica St. Rose, what's her name? Maria Fontinel people and so on. I think so, these people. They decided to challenge this thing in court. So they are the claimants. They are the ones who are saying, look, we want the court to take a look at this thing. And guess who was the defendant? Who they brought the case against? The Attorney General of St. Lucia. The Attorney General was the defendant. He had to be defending the state of St. Lucia, which includes the government, against this lawsuit by the claimants United and Strong, Bellas and Theodule and all of that. He had to be. So don't go and say, like the government, go and pass a law to say that same sex and anal sex and bullying and whatever it is we want to call it, and buggery and so on, that's not true. The government of St. Lucia stood against this. And if they want to, if they believe there is a chance, although you make a call, does this thing stand a chance that if we take it to the appeal court that it's going to have any success? They get legal advice. It says no. The trend throughout the Caribbean and throughout the world is that these cases don't get won afterwards. So save your resources, save your money, save your personnel. Appearances: Mr. Douglas Mendes, King's Counsel, with Miss Veronica Snack of Counsel for the Claimants. All right? We know who Douglas Mendes is. We know who Veronica Snack is. Mr. Mendes, I think, is from Trinidad and Tobago, King's Counsel. Really upstanding, advanced senior lawyer. He's appearing for the claimants. Mr. Rene Williams, Senior Crown Counsel, with Rochelle John Charles, Crown Counsel, Attorney General's Chambers, for the defendant. I think the case was first heard in March 2023 and judgment given on July 29, just late last month. All right. It was heard before Justice Innocent. Mr. Randall Theodule, Mr. Theodule, and Mr. Vernon Bellas, Mr. Bellas, the first and second claimants in the present proceedings, are members of the LGBTQ community in St. Lucia. Folks, these are the things you have to stand against when these liars, I don't care whether they're from a political party, I don't care whether they're from a church, come making you believe that the government of St. Lucia changed the law, making it okay for people who want to engage in buggery and anal sex and same-sex and bowling or whatever we want to call it. That's not true. The law was already on the books. It was challenged that it is incompatible with our constitution, and the High Court found that it agreed with them and said this thing has to be struck out because it is in conflict with the Constitution, and according to the principle that the lesser must give way to the greater. Any law which is a lower law that flies in the face of the Constitution and a court finds the law has to go. I don't know if it's automatically struck down by the court ruling or if they need to go to Parliament and go through a motion of repealing it, whatever it is, but the court has ruled. It has nothing to do with the government. Nothing to do with the government. People, we in the media have to exercise our fourth estate responsibility. There are three branches of government. One is the legislature, which is the parliament. A lot of members of the executive, aka the cabinet, are also members of the parliament. So you have people who are simultaneously members of the executive and the legislature. The ministers are elected, almost all of them, but they don't necessarily have to be elected. There are people who are made ministers via the Senate, but they're still members of parliament. The unelected upper house, they're appointed, but they're still legislators. The Attorney General, who is neither a member of the House or of the Senate, is a member of the cabinet. He sits in the cabinet. He sits in the parliament sometimes, next to the Prime Minister, leader of government business, because as the chief legal advisor of the government of the state, of the Governor General, he is there so that if needs be, he can give some legal guidance to them. So you can say that the Attorney General is an ex officio member of the cabinet and of the parliament, whatever, or however you want to look at it. In the United States, it's different. There is almost a complete separation between the executive and the legislature in the United States. I think I've said that here before. The president and those people that he appoints, with confirmation, from the legislature, the Congress, the House and the Senate, none of them are also members of the legislature as we have here, except for one, the vice president. That's why I keep saying the president of the United States may be called the most powerful man in the world, but the vice president is the most powerful politician in America. He's the only politician who is a member of the cabinet, of the executive, the number 2 man to be precise, And he's also, you might say, the head of the legislature because he is the president of the Senate. Apart from that, there's an almost complete separation between them. But that's not the point. We have the cabinet, which is the executive. We have the legislature, which is Parliament, House of Assembly and Senate. And then we have the judiciary. Parliament may pass laws. The judiciary may be called upon to examine those laws, whether those laws are proper, whether those laws are constitutional, whether those laws were passed with an ad hominem intent. Yeah, judges do that. They look at laws and they say, this law was obviously passed to target Shelton Daniel because everything about it is constructed in a manner, somebody was born in the mid-1960s who's a broadcast, and give all the particulars so that they know it will point to that person. Yeah, judges have pronounced on laws that they consider to be, unjust because they are too ad hominem in the manner in which they are constructed. But that's rare. And the fourth estate is the media, the press, journalists, broadcasters. They are called the fourth estate because they are called upon to act as an unofficial fourth branch of government, to hold the other branches to account, not in the sense of going to quarrel with them, but to dig into the backstories behind a lot of the things and to bring the information to people so that they can understand what the legislature, what the executive, and what the judiciary are doing. And therefore, this fourth estate, this unofficial fourth branch of government, essentially will hold the other three branches to account, will hold their feet to the fire by continuously shedding light and, we can say, exposing. Exposure doesn't mean that there's a scandal. It can mean that sometimes. But it just means educating people and letting people know of the workings, to prevent people from spreading misinformation designed to mamagai people, to tell people that the government actually defended against the claim to say that the anti-buggery laws are unconstitutional, to say that the government is in a position that it can actually appeal the ruling if it believes there is any reasonable chance of success, which would not just be tantamount to a waste of resources. To stop the lying and the misinformation that the government changed the law pertaining to bullying or whatever we want to call it. To do that. This is our responsibility as media people. It's not you have to go and take on any pastor or any bishop or any whatever. It is to shine the light on the truth and the facts as they stand. More than ever before, we need a better functioning, more responsible, more focused, more determined fourth estate in this country. This is the real issues, powered by Blue Waters. Let's take our break. And when we come back, the telephone lines will be open. I'll try to read more from that court case, of course, so we can get a better idea of what's going on. But in line with what Terry and I have decided, we're opening the phone lines these days a lot earlier for you.
The man, the voice. Your hero is back. Raw facts, no fluffs. Shelton Daniel is here to deal with the issues. Real issues. 12:30 p.m. to 2 p.m. Monday to Friday on Real FM.
Join the Young Labour Stars on National Youth Vibe on Sunday, 17th August at Palm Valley in Grand Riviere, Dennery. Pull up for music, energy, and real talk. Bringing the vibes. Honorable Jeremiah Norbert.
Shelton, CJN.
Honorable Kenton Casimir. And our Prime Minister and political leader, Honorable Philip J. Pierre. Blazing the Labour Party stage for the first time, our endorsed candidates, Senator Lisa Jawahir
For more progress
and Dr. Shanda Harak Singh. You definitely don't want to miss our firebrand feature speaker,
Newport South endorsed candidate.
Mr. Danny Butcher. Vibes, and more vibes from DJ Pro Styles, General Biggs, Subbons, and our 2025 Groovy Monarch, Imran Nerdy.
Yeah, I go in everywhere.
It's a whole youth vibe with labor.
Palm Valley, Dennery, August 17th at 3:30 p.m.
Be there.
It is well known that diseases like diabetes, high blood pressure, and other illnesses may restrict blood flow, which can lead to impotence and erectile dysfunction. This is why Enhance was formulated to meet these challenging health problems, which can reduce your ability to perform. If you're having problems maintaining your manhood, then reclaim your manhood today with Enhance. Enhance increases your energy level, boosts your stamina, and increases your endurance.
You can get your Enhance at Southwell, VA4, Restorer Pharmacy, Soufre, Knights Med, Miku, Lay by Bar, The Morn, Dexter's Place, Jeremy Street, Castries, Citygate Bar, The City opposite the market, Plants Place, Denry Highway, Arlette Supermarket, Soufre, The Release Stress Bar, Labrie Highway, Cool Joint Bar, Victoria Schwazel, Prios Bus Stop 22, next to the Moshi Bus Stop, opposite the Grosley Bus Stop. Prios Bar and Grill in Corinth, Grosley.
Enhance, the best a man can get.
The voice. Your hero is back. Raw facts, no fluff. Shelton Daniel is here to deal with the issues. Real issues. 12:30 p.m. to 2 p.m. Monday to Friday on Real FM.
Invest St. Lucia is excited to announce its upcoming land fair taking place in Dennery on Saturday, August 16, 2025, from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. Join us at the grounds next to the Dennery Primary School for a day focused on making land ownership accessible. Explore a variety of affordable land options, discover opportunities for land ownership, and learn about financing solutions directly from our partnering financial institutions. Real Issues powered by Blue Waters is on, and right away, let me tell you, I'll begin taking your calls. The numbers to dial, you can WhatsApp call us on 758-487-9849. That's 758-487-9849. And you can also reach us via the local landline number, which is 4533-911. I saw Jaquan press a red button or button that turned red. That can only mean that we got our first call already. You're on the air, Real Issues.
Hi, Shelton. Good afternoon.
How are you doing?
Not too bad. How are you?
I'm okay.
You know, Shelton, I listened to you on this matter of this politician, Guy Joseph, talking about abortion and this government, you know, and the role that it played in you know, amending the section of the, you know, criminal code to deal with abortion. And I heard Guy Joseph last night. He was in the news at some UWP meeting talking about the UWP being Christian conservatives. And therefore, they had to look at those issues and condemn those, you know, people who did certain things. And Guy Joseph spoke about the Labour Party condoning abortion, change the law, and all this kind of foolishness. I mean, does Guy Joseph believe that St. Lucians have already forgotten that when Sarah Flood challenged the Labour Party, of which she was still a member, challenged the Labour Party's amendment or proposed amendment to the criminal code, does he forget, or does he believe that St. Lucia forgets that the amendments that were made was, for one, in the case of incest, in the case of rape, and in the case where a doctor felt that if a pregnant mother carried the child to term, that pregnant mother's life would be threatened.
Yes.
And so those changes were made to the criminal code in terms of abortion. One, rape, in the case of rape. Two, in the case of incest. And three, in case a medical practitioner felt that a mother's life would be threatened if that pregnant mother carried the child to term. And the amendment made it even harder for that pregnant mother, because whereas before it was amended, the criminal code mentioned one medical practitioner, the amendment mentioned two medical practitioners. Two. But you see, the glaring thing about all of that was, when the United Workers' Party won in 2006, they had every opportunity to go back and change the code.
Exactly.
They didn't.
They didn't.
They didn't. They had another opportunity in 2016 to 2021. They didn't. But here comes Guy Joseph talking about the UWP being made up of Christian conservatives, whatever that means. It is the same Guy Joseph who makes all kinds of vile statements about all kinds of people. I mean, how can we forget when Guy Joseph made the statement about Joachim Henry sacrificing his son, just so in some kind of evil ritual, just so he could win the seat? Does Guy Joseph believe that we've forgotten that, and he's talking about him being a Christian conservative? Does Guy Joseph believe that we've forgotten when this government introduced this period poverty policy?
Yeah.
That they would introduce tampons into the schools because a lot of young women cannot afford to buy those things. Guy Joseph made a statement that seemed to suggest that Sean Edwards, who's the Minister for Education, had a carnal interest in that. In other words, what he was saying was, Sean Edwards, by participating in this, he would have every opportunity to have a chance, a sexual chance with those young girls. That's what he was suggesting. I mean, the man makes all kinds of vile statements, vile, nasty. And then he comes and tries to pass himself and other UWP members as Christian conservatives, whatever that means. And they're making all of those statements, and the others are condoning those statements because they're not repudiating them. They're not condemning them. But the man comes there and with a straight face says that they're Christian conservatives. I mean, if Guy Joseph believes that by saying those things to his supporters, and I don't know if he believes that, his supporters will buy all of that, or other people will buy all of that. But the thing is, the truth is, not even all of Guy Joseph's supporters or UWP supporters buy into that kind of stuff, because they know Guy Joseph is a vile human being, making those vile statements that not even ordinary people would make, much less somebody who is passing himself off as a politician, seeking to represent people for a third or a fourth time. I mean, who does these things? I mean, who makes nasty statements like that and offers himself or herself as a representative, politician who will represent the interests of people in government? Anyway, I'm so upset. Thanks,
I can hear. Thank you very much. Listen to the judgment, given by Justice Innocent in this matter after he has laid out all the case, all the references, all the things that, and the submissions before him. In light of the reasons which the court has given in this judgment, and nothing to do with Parliament or anybody, the court makes the following declarations and orders and grants the following relief. The court declares that sections 132 and 133 of the Criminal Code infringe the claimant's rights and the rights of LGBTQ persons to the protection of the law guaranteed by Section 1A of the Constitution. We are taking your calls still, folks, 487-9849 and 4533-911. You can also send us WhatsApp messages direct by going to the websites realfmofficial.com and mbcslu.com. You will see the WhatsApp messaging links there. Just click on them and then you can send them to us. This is a judge speaking there, This is not Philip J. Pierre or Leslie Mondesi or Ernest Hilaire or Richard Frederick or Moses Jean-Baptiste or anybody as a minister. This is not any parliamentarian speaking. This is a judge making a pronouncement based on a legal challenge that is placed before him. I'll read it further, but we'll interrupt any time to take the calls, and we have someone else on the line. Real Issues, you're on the air. Hello.
Good afternoon, Shelton.
Hey, how you doing?
I'm good, my brother. I'm good. I'm sorry I couldn't make it today.
Yeah, boy. When I got the message from Terry, you came to my mind, But I say I don't want to overdo it because.
He did ask me to come sit in for him, but I had a few obligations.
Oh, he did. Okay. I didn't realize.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, okay.
Shelton, boy, it seems these days that Mr. Antoine and I have some sort of a kinetic or psychic connection.
Great minds. I think they say about great minds.
Great minds. I hope it's not fools seldom differ. But, I caught, I'm not sure what's going on, but I was listening on my computer and the volume was quite low. I'm not sure if anyone else listening online is getting that issue. Okay. But the volume was quite low, so I couldn't, it was in and out hearing what he was saying. But it is just funny that I was having this conversation with a very close friend of mine just moments ago. And this gentleman is one who sits back. Someone can look at me and call me a hack. I don't mind. While I might differ, I might be of a differing view. But this is a gentleman who is a close friend of mine. And we speak about political matters. And I can tell you as much as he would obviously lean towards the Labour Party's policies and everything, and obviously he knows where to cast his vote. Because when you have good and bad, when your only options are good and bad, you know where you should know for your best interest, in your best interest where you should vote. But anyway, and he said to me, Shelton, that this whole thing with Guy Joseph knows very well. And remember what I said a few weeks ago? That he has lost his credibility in all spheres. And he is no longer the quote-unquote superstar Guy Joseph, who was the bold and brash one that would take on they seem to be the one that would take on the mighty Labour Party in the Parliament, even when in opposition. And his decline, the steep decline, actually started this whole period poverty nonsense. But then, like Mr. Antoine said, not even the base Guy Joseph's own supporters believe or even endorse the nonsense that he has said, right? Especially this whole thing about the burglary law, which is the point I really wanted to make, and it is a little outside of our local politics. The average person who understands the arms of government knows what went on there. Someone took the matter before the court, and the courts ruled that there was a constitutional, of course, there's a constitutional challenge. And the court ruled that, yes, indeed, the burglary law is unconstitutional. So the point I really want to get to, Shelton, and let me preface it by saying that I have, as far as I'm concerned, where homosexuality is concerned, you do you, I do me. I have gay friends, whether lesbians or male homosexual. I have male, and I have no issue with their lifestyles. It's not mine. But when you look at laws like that being challenged in the courts and the court's ruling, it is beyond St. Lucia. Yes. It is in the age where the globe is shrinking and globalization is more than just a word. It is what we are living in now. And impact is even one of them, where America has now placed their influence. They have an issue with what goes on in a sovereign nation, and they place their influence. And if we look at how we get funding as a country, which is the real point. I remember, and I've mentioned it before, that in a space of 2 years, I attended 3 workshops on reporting on gender issues and gender neutral reporting. And you know what the outcome of that was? We as participants in the media, whether government and private media, said to them that the issues that you are highlighting really don't exist in St. Lucia in the Caribbean, in our part of the world. But in order for us to get funding from like the Canadian government and all these agencies, we have to, certain laws have to reflect their own vision and their own policies and their values. You understand, Sheldon? So even things like so the point is that the buggery law that is ruled unconstitutional, it is beyond just our courts. It is where the world has shifted to, and we have to understand it, and we can accept if we want or do not or do not. But then the government has nothing to do with that. The government the executive has nothing, and the legislative arm government has nothing to do with that. That is all judiciary, and Guy Joseph will not escape with that, because our people are much smarter than the poodle days. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. You know, this is the dishonesty of people, and you know, I can't say the United Workers' Party, because it looks like certain religious people, based upon the same thing, the ignorance, not taking time to examine properly the issues, the real issues that are involved in this thing, who are just jumping onto platforms and pulpits and so on, and just preaching fire and brimstone sermons, etc., without looking into what those things are. You know, we have to reconcile the balance between when the Bible says the earth is the Lord's and the fullness thereof, and when at the same time, you know, Jesus Christ himself said the whole world lieth in the power of the wicked one. A lot of you religious people are not doing what you're supposed to do, which is the evangelizing work of preaching the gospel to people. Instead of waiting every carnival season and having a fit, whether it's a genuine fit or not, or whether you're just engaging in antics from the pulpit to impress people and to whip up excitement and passion and this thing, why don't you engage in spiritual pushback of prayer, special prayer meetings and prayer sessions of your members, special evangelical outlooks and so on, to start designing tracts and so on to hand to people, and to get your heads right about this thing that is happening. I'll talk more on that in a little moment, because we have another call on the line. Real Issues, you're on the air. All right, we lost that call. Okay. Y'all need to start doing. Don't wait every year when Bam Bam Wall becomes an issue. You know Carnival is coming. You know what time it is coming. Mr. Pastor, Mr. Bishop, Mr. Minister, Mr. Reverend, begin to approach the throne of grace, you know, to find help in a time of need and so on. To begin your tracts design that you will hand out to people, to begin your special messages to people, that it is the spirit that gives life and the flesh profiteth nothing at all. The word that he tells you, they are spirit, they are life. To share the word with people with particular reference and relevance to those so-called cultural things. To begin to tell people that not because the law says you can do it, that you should do it, because we are not under law, we are under grace. To start targeting those messages. Because when y'all wait, when those developments come, and that's when y'all want to come out swinging, you make yourselves look political, partisan political. And I'm sure, well, I can't say I'm sure, but I would hate to think that this is where you want yourself to be in terms of how you're regarded and the widespread perception. You're too reactive instead of doing the work of evangelizing and preaching and ministry consistently and continuously. Stop reacting to issues that are put on the agenda by a judge, by a magistrate in a secular court. You all are ambassadors substituting for Christ. Do the ambassadorial work. We have a call on the line. Yes. Real Issues, you're on the air.
Good afternoon, my friend.
How are you doing, Brad?
Do you have a number for Tommy Descott?
No, never did.
Because there is a dead dog by the entrance of Sandals Latok.
Mm.
And since Tommy has taken up that kind of work, I want him to be consistent. So if anybody can reach out to me and tell me that there is a dead dog by Sandals Latok entrance. Shelton.
Yes, my bro.
I love to see your blue shirt and your yellow tie.
It's actually a white shirt. It's a very white shirt.
It's white?
Yes.
And your tie is not yellow?
My tie is absolutely red.
No, Shelton, but that is my truth. That is my truth.
Okay, so the truth is whatever you believe it to be.
My truth is telling me that you are at HTS right now with a blue shirt and a yellow tie. Shelton, I'll tell you something.
Yeah.
Today, I am fully convinced that Alan Chasney's mentor is Satan. And I'll tell you why. One of the greatest deception that caused the downfall of mankind from the Garden of Eden is when Satan told Eve that the reason why God doesn't want them to eat from the fruit in the middle of the Garden of Eden is because their eyes will become open and they'll become just like God. Deception to the teeth. And they believe it. And they eat that wholeheartedly. And all how I look at utterances of Alan Chasney, it is as equal as to those of Satan. You look at Matthew 4, when Christ was led by the Spirit into the wilderness after he was fasted for 40 days. What did Satan told him? If you are the Son of God, make these stones bread. What did Christ say? Man shall not live by bread alone.
Yes.
He tried again. He brought him and showed him all.
Well, even before that, he said, "You the Son of God, so throw yourself down." And
throw yourself down.
Yeah.
And every utterance of Satan, I'm seeing the same pattern. That's why I want to warn our people. Do not be deceived by Alan Chasney. There is a very high level of deception. And all these people, all these members of UWP, they're using that same tactic. And remember, Alan Chasney won an election in 2016, not because of his ability, but it's because of deception. So I want our people to stay focused and remember, our choice is clear. We are staying with JPA. Shelton, thank you very much.
All right,
nice
thank you very much. You know, the United Workers' Party, what time is it? Okay, we almost at the time for the break. There's something I want to point out to you. Gaspar made a very good point there, and I think I've spoken about it, the talking snake kind of thing. But maybe we'll come back to it if we don't have anybody immediately on the line. Real Issues powered by Blue Waters. Please don't go away. The best of today's program is yet to come.
The man, the voice. Your hero is back. Raw facts, no fluff. Shelton Daniel is here to deal with the issues. Real Issues, 12:30 p.m. to 2 p.m. Monday to Friday on Real FM.
Join the Young Labour Stars for a National Youth Vibe on Sunday, 17th August at Palm Valley in Grand Riviere, Dennery. Pull up for music, energy, and real talk. Bringing the vibes. Honorable Jeremiah Norbert.
Cell N, CJN.
Honorable Kenton Casimir. And our Prime Minister and political leader, Honorable Philip J. Pierre. Blazing the Labour Party stage for the first time. Our endorsed candidates, Senator Lisa Jawahir
For more progress.
and Dr. Shanda Haraksing. You definitely don't want to miss our firebrand feature speaker,
Newport South endorsed candidate,
Mr. Danny Butcher. Vibes and more vibes from DJ Pro Styles, General Biggs, Subbats, and our 2025 Groovy Monarch, Imran Nerdy.
Yeah, I go in everywhere.
It's a whole youth vibe with Labor.
Palm Valley, January, August 17th at 3:30 p.m.
Be there.
It is well known that diseases like diabetes, high blood pressure, and other illnesses may restrict blood flow, which can lead to impotence and erectile dysfunction. This is why Enhance was formulated to meet these challenging health problems, which can reduce your ability to perform. If you're having problems maintaining your manhood, then reclaim your manhood today with Enhance. Enhance increases your energy level, boosts your stamina, and increases your endurance.
You can get your Enhance at Southwell VA4, Restorer Pharmacy Soufre, Knights Med Miku, Lay by Bar The Morn, Dexter's Place Jeremy Street Castries, Citygate Bar The City opposite the market, Plants Place Denry Highway, Arlette Supermarket Soufre, The Release Stress Bar Labrie Highway, Cool Joint Bar Victoria Schwazel, Prios Bus Stop 22, next to the Moshi Bus Stop opposite the Grosile Bus Stop. Prios Bar and Grill in Corinth, Grosile.
Enhance, the best a man can get.
The man, the voice. Your hero is back. Raw facts, no fluffs. Shelton Daniel is here to deal with big issues. 12:30 p.m. to 2 p.m. Monday to Friday on Real FM.
You are listening and viewing The Real Issues, powered by Blue Waters on Real FM Radio, MBC Television, Facebook, and YouTube live streaming. We are taking your calls going until 2 o'clock, and we have someone waiting already. You're on the air. Go ahead.
Good afternoon.
Hello?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're on the air. Go ahead.
Yeah, good afternoon.
Yeah, good afternoon, comrade.
Yeah, good afternoon, my brother. Good afternoon. Sorry about I have a dog that is causing a lot of problems there for me this afternoon.
It looks like the dog don't want you talking to anybody else.
Having a movie, I'm not too sure. That was called The Beautiful Mind. I believe, Shelton, you have a beautiful mind in your attempt to try to unravel the distinction between the executive, that is the cabinet which people think of the government, the judiciary, which is supposed to be independent of whatever, the parliament that brings in laws, and you brought in the question of the press. The press has a very important role to play in educating people as far as things that happen both in the executive, the parliament, and the judiciary. But there are sections of the press, my brother, I think when I watch it from time, that are really biased as far as certain things are concerned, and their tendency, or what I would call their allegiance to certain political parties and things like that. Now, all these issues that have been raised there, as far as now, I have always had problems in pronouncing the word buggery or what, but it's really bullying, and maybe some years and them kind of things here, right? Now, we must realize in St. Lucia, as the, what you call it, united and strong,
Yes.
that is a human right. Now, when we say it's a human right, it's really based on the hormonal instincts, on the hormonal transfer of people as far as their allegiance, sexual allegiance are concerned. We know that has caused a lot of problems in the society. We know there were laws, or there have been laws that really outlaw it. But when you check on the laws and the colonial linkages or the linking of these laws, to me, these laws were put in place to really shun the behavior of the aristocrats in their behavior. It's real. If you really check it, it's real. It's real, right? I don't want to really offend the church, the Catholic Church, the Christian community. I was an acolyte and myself in the Catholic Church many years ago. I have a lot of closely related families who are closely related to the church. But when we see and hear of all the news relating to cardinals, priests that have actually, sodomized or do whatever to acolytes and people so. Yeah. We have to understand this kind of thing. So when United and Strong brings in that thing in court and the judge passes, these are things that are in keeping with how the world is moving. Now, I would venture to say perhaps the world has moved in this direction because maybe the religious professions, the Catholics and whoever, have not done a really good job in orienting people's minds to these kind of issues. Now, what happens in the press? People will take it and read and pass it on the government. For example, you raised the question of the sister there. What's her name there? Sister Sarah Flood. I believe Sister Sarah Flood knew very well when the Kenny Anthony administration brought in the law as far as these issues were concerned. I believe she was playing under her Christian orientation or Catholic orientation as far as these things are concerned, not taking into consideration of the reports and the number of different things, especially in the United States and elsewhere, where priests, cardinals have acted. Well, these are the issue. So I'm saying sections of the press are really playing a hypocritical role to attend to the ones in the politics who would now want to raise these issues against a government action. That to me is the issue, and people have to understand that very clearly. We are not saying, those who have their orientation, they have their orientation, whatever they have their orientation. But if the judiciary, the judge come and say it's against human rights, United and Strong, why they don't accuse United and Strong for bringing the thing to court? Why?
Because
it is not in keeping with the political thing, especially now.
Yeah.
And that is the issue. Thank you very much, my brother.
Thank you very much. You're welcome. 487-9849. 758-487-9849. You can WhatsApp, call us on that mobile number, and you can call us on the local landline direct 4533911. You're on the air, caller. Go ahead.
Hi.
Hello, you're on the air. Go ahead.
Good afternoon, Shelton.
Hi, good afternoon to you.
How do you do?
Doing okay, and you?
I tell you, I'm not enthusiastic if Terry was the other, but a more enthusiastic greeting from you. But that's all right.
Yeah. Take
Shelton.
a pause until Terry come back.
Say again?
Hang up until Terry come back.
No. I am a doctor. I have more patience than Job.
All right, okay.
Shelton, let me tell you that I'm Catholic. I vote and I live in St. Lucia. You see, what I do in my bedroom is my business. Until and unless I kill or chop somebody in my bedroom, then it becomes the business of the state, because somebody may see, somebody may hear, somebody screaming as a result of that criminal act. But anything else I do in my bedroom is my business.
Even especially, but it must not involve people that you are infringing upon their rights or taking advantage of them or violating them. Like little children, children who are underage, incapacitated people, overpowering people and so on. These are the things. It's understood that when we talk about the bedroom, we are talking about, in the case of anything sexual acts between consenting adults,
Adults, yes. Yeah. Yes, you are right. So for somebody to catch me in the act between myself and a consenting adult to charge me, they have to invade my privacy.
Exactly.
Because the consenting adult would not be screaming because they have consented. But you know what worries me most, Shelton, about this? It is suddenly becoming a talking point of the political party And Guy Joseph is making it a talking point of his. Shelton, aren't these people members of United and Strong, members of the Pride community, whether they be gay, whether they be lesbians? Aren't they voters?
You know what I find about the UWP? It's the hypocrisy and the duplicity, and I'll tell you what I mean by that. UWP has always fancied themselves as the tourism party, the party that is very focused, that has done a lot more than anybody else. They claim to develop tourism and to attract. I mean, listen to Dominic Fede and Alan Chastney in particular. Oh, the numbers are always better when they're there and they're higher, and they're always claiming something. Had you seen any instance of that case going the other way, where, for example, the High Court or anybody else, in other words, if the High Court had ruled the other way, it would be tantamount to the Attorney General and the state winning the case, right? As opposed to United and Strong. Had it been that the government, through the Attorney General, had won the case and the ruling had gone the other way, you would have seen that same UWP try to rope in and enlist and co-opt the international gay rights lobby. You'd see how they would to try to put pressure on St. Lucia, to try to get tourism boycott, to try to get all those kind of things, because St. Lucia has taken a position that is in the crosshairs and at cross purposes with international gay rights and all of those things. It turns out now that the activists and the lobbyists and the whatever for the gay rights and so on have won the case. They are now trying to play upon the uninformed sentiments of St. Lucians who were stuck maybe in the whole conservative view of this thing, if conservative is the right word, to try to put the pressure on the government by saying this government is encouraging, perversion. The very same thing I'm sure they would have opposed had it gone the other way. Yeah.
Shelton, but it just dawned on me. I want to make 2 points so I can run. Shelton, as if my memory serves me right, we at some point had a cruise ship.
Yeah, some gay cruise or whatever. Yeah.
Who was the prime minister at the time? Do you remember?
You tell me.
I can't remember, but I know it was not Mr. Pierre. Okay?
Right.
I cannot remember who the prime minister was at the time. Somebody was going to do the work in the back of the back. Sorry, not. But very importantly, I want to remind Guy Joseph that those consenting adults who will get involved, who have gotten involved, and who are considering to get involved in the act of burglary in the privacy of their own homes and bedrooms. Call them burglars if you want, call them what you want, but these people are of age to vote. You're attacking them pre-election. But when you're going to be canvassing, you're going to stop them and ask them where they're going to vote, and you're going to tell them you'd like them to give you a vote. You'd like them to vote for your party. Don't forget that. Don't forget that. And these people have power. They can mobilize against you or for you, depending. So he needs to take a step back, allow the law and the judges to do what they do best. Let the government do what it does best. And you, from your standpoint in your party, do what you do best. Keep quiet. Let Gorman do what Gorman wants to do within the law. Bye-bye.
Yeah. Thank you very much. Thanks a lot. All right, 487-9849. You can WhatsApp call us on that, and 4533-911, the landline, you can call us direct on that. In light of the reasons which the court has given in this judgment, just indicate to me, okay, I'll have to interrupt myself. I wanted to actually read from the judgment,
Mr. Sheldon,
pertaining to that case. But we have someone on the line. Go ahead.
How you doing, sir?
Doing great, and you?
Pretty good. Now, you don't really find me hearing my voice on your show as such. But I would like to You're a guy I like to listen to. I think you have some great input. And I would like you to read the government to put you on Radio St. Lucia. And then you can have your talk show so you can increase your volume.
So what do I have here? It's not a talk show?
Well, whatever. It's a government station. Give your job there. I recommend the government to give you a job on the Radio St. Lucia. So I didn't know you was a pastor.
That I'm not.
Oh, I thought you said you are.
I never said that, bro.
Oh, well, maybe it's my bad. But I want to make a few points here. That the consensus on the ground in St. Lucia, okay, right now, is showing 80% to the Labour Party and maybe 15 to 20% for the UWP. And there's only one thing, there are a couple of things I don't like. I don't like the Prime Minister answering Alan Chasney and all the others, like two little children, and he's always. You have a press secretary. I want the Prime Minister to send the press secretary forward and let her do her job, please, and maintain his integrity. I want him to do that. If he's listening, please do that. Let the press secretary do all the thinging for you. And you maintain your integrity because you know what you're doing. You know your support is strong. You don't have to be coming in and answering the guy, shoo-poo-shoo, whatever they say. Now, the other thing is, right, the only other thing I don't like what the government did, people may criticize me for that, but is the port that they sell there. I felt the government should have been finding a company to increase or build a new cargo shed in Cul-de-Sac.
No, who said the government has sold the port?
Well, I don't know how much it is, but that's what I'm hearing.
Bro, that's UWP propaganda.
No, but whether they rent it out or not, I just feel let's stick on the point that there should have had something, a port been building in Cul-de-Sac to remove all these headaches that they have in the castle.
Let me tell you something very quickly. The deal that the government has entered into with GPH, it does not involve the cargo side of things and Port Authority and so on. The government has entered into an agreement with Global Port Holdings that Global Port Holdings will front all the money and equipment and everything required for the upgrade development of the cruise port in St. Lucia. And in the way that it will get paid is not the government dipping its hand in its pocket, that the government will allow them to operate the cruise ports or certain aspects of them for a certain period of time. I think the agreement is for 30 years. And out of the money that they collect from the cruise ships visiting here, what is known as the cruise head tax or cruise passenger head tax, whatever, they will take a portion of it from which the money that they have invested, as we see happening right now, that they will get paid out of that. So the government will not have to dip its hand, but the ownership of the ports and whatever remains St. Lucia's own.
Okay, well said. My last point is this. I heard you mention something a while ago which I'm not pleased. You said the UWP. The party that is running...
What did I say about UWP? I said this thing about the cruise, about the port being sold.
No, not that point. Earlier you said the UWP. You mentioned something about the UWP.
But you don't know what it is, but you know you're not pleased.
No. That's not what I'm talking about. We passed that already. What I'm saying, the UWP, you didn't mention about something about them. I am saying that there is no UWP.
Oh.
Okay? WP died with Compton. His wife and his children are those that of the party and stuff like that.
So what do we have at the
what we have a clown circus with Alan Chasney and his clown circus. It's a circus. That is not the original the UWP that you and I know. And I would like to appeal to Mr. Guy Joseph. If you want to win a seat, the trend you are taking right now will not win you no seat. Instead of wrangling and a loudmouth wimp on on the media and everybody hating you. People are tired of that. It's like a cock crowing at night in your head and prevent you from sleeping. Mr. Guy Joseph need to, if he have to redeem himself, go slow, go and work your constituency instead of making all this noise of irrelevance. If you have to get somewhere, that doesn't make sense. Because what you realize, there are some intellectual guys that may be in the party. They're the ones to replace the guy that's there, because that guy will never get nowhere. He's of no substance. And because he's in the party, there are issues in the party. You all need to turn it over and let somebody take the helm. I know I am speaking sense. All these shebang and this, that, making noise there, this, that, and you following them, the clown circus, doesn't make sense. If you want people to get off the airwaves on making all that noise and party politics on the platform, and first, to begin, of Seventh Adventists or a Christian, people do not, like you were saying about Christians a while ago, people of integrity do not conduct themselves that way. I live in your constituency. If you have to make stride, that's not the new way. If you lose the first time, it's quiet down and go to the people, reselling yourself for them if you have to win your seat. Okay. It does not make sense.
All right, let's give somebody else a chance, okay? Thank you very
Bye-bye.
much. Real Issues powered by Blue Waters. We're going until 2 o'clock, where we really have to make way for the lotto, which comes on live. We're still taking your calls, 487-9849. That's 758-487-9849. You can send us WhatsApp messages through our websites, realfmofficial.com and mbcslu.com. And you can also reach us on 4533911. We have someone on the line. You're on the air. Go ahead.
Yeah, Sheldon.
Yeah, hi.
Hi, how are you?
Doing great.
Good. The issue I have here with the topic today is, I cannot understand people have choices in life. It's your life. You know what you want for yourself. If you want to be a gay person, you want to be a gay person, does it make you happy? I would first ask, are you happy? Because happiness, internal happiness and happiness is what we're looking for in this world. Are you happy? Yes, I'm happy. Leave it alone. Leave the people, let them live their life. And the only person that judges you is the Almighty God. They cannot judge nobody. All right? Now, the other issue I have, I would like the UWP or the FLOB or whatever you want to call it now, to let Sir John rest in peace, please. You cannot tell me there is no legacy, nothing that you all have in the UWP to offer to people and say, in the 5 years you all have done, where we are very satisfied with what we saw, what was done, and how we can move. Okay? You have nothing to talk about on a platform on Sunday. You cannot, not one of them in the 17 of them can tell you what they're going to do for us. They does not understand solutions are no longer stupid. We can measure them. We can measure them. You cannot come on a platform and campaign on Sir John's legacy, on what Sir John was Sir John at the time. He was there. He did what he had to do. Okay? Then Stephenson King came. He did what he had to do. Okay? Then come Kenny Anthony. He did what he had to do. Now Philip come. He's doing what he had to do and what he is doing. So come and say to us what you are going to do for us. What can we expect? That's what on that Sunday, for the 17 of them, they better open their mouths loud enough to say what they're going to do for us, what are the intentions, what is the vision they have for us, and do not come and murmur us and keep saying that what Sir John did. When the Labour Party came in and they knew that George Charles had done something and had brought them somewhere, they had some gratefulness and they made the man's son a Governor General. When Alan Gordon, you did not know what Sir John did for us, that you could have at least made his wife a Governor General. Couldn't you make his son a governor general? Couldn't you make his daughter a governor general? Okay? You went against them. You went against them. That hypocrisy, believe me, Sheldon, I am one woman in St. Lucia that cannot take that hypocrisy from the UWP. They need to stop talking about Sir John. They need to allow Sir John to rest in peace. And wherever he is, and if it's an angel guiding him to guide his wife and his children, but they need to stop, but they'll be punished for doing that. Do not go on Sunday, and don't let me hear them on that platform mentioning Sir John's name. Go and mention the legacy, what has the Prime Minister you all had at the time did for you all, okay? And what you all are going to do for us. And I'm watching them, because they have to tell us what they have in the pipeline for us. And don't come and put Sir John with the scat guy that went in the gutter. If he had any pride, and he had any health thing, and he knew that he couldn't go in that dirty gutter that has been there for so long, and pretending to people, he's such a good man, he can do it. And coming and talk about, Sir John had put pipes on his back. When Sir John had put pipes on his back, Sir John was bringing water to the people in that area. He was bringing something. He was bringing drinking water to the people in the area. All right? So John didn't go in a gutter, okay, and take his dirty feet and his dirty shoes and go to his home and drop it where his children can get the disease or anything. They need to stop that. And that hypocrisy has gone too far, and there's nobody stopping them, but they've got to stop. Do not, and I warn them again, do not go on that platform on Sunday and talk about Sir John. This is a sin to do that. Sir John did what he had to do. We were satisfied with what he did. Some of the things he didn't do, he well said it. He wished he had done more for young people, but that is one regret he had. He also told me about wanting to build a stadium, a thing for young people to do all the dancing and the this and the literature thing and the this and the that. You know what I mean? The culture, all right? And if I had told them that, they would say I'm lying. So I bother tell them nothing, okay?
Okay.
So I am saying, I know what Sir John did. I saw what Sir John did, but Sir John has to rest in peace, my God. They need to stop. They have a man in the midst of them there that did so much to stop everything. Philippia wasn't there at the time. He wasn't the Prime Minister at the time because he did so much. Then Peter Josie, he did a lot. Independence in 1979, who you think was in the middle of it? And where's Peter Josie? Huh? Peter Josie is like a placemat on the table, like a placemat.
We have to wrap it up now.
I'm
Yeah, we have to wrap it up. Thank you very much for your contribution. Really, really on fire, okay? You know, folks, I really wanted to read from that judgment, read the documents, a few paragraphs, not the whole thing, of course. They tend to be 56 pages, this particular ruling of Justice Innocent judgment. But read some relevant parts. So what I'll do, I'll either come back tomorrow to read it, or Jaquan, I'll highlight them, send them to you, we'll put it on the screen. So when I read it, people will see what I'm talking about, the reasoning of the judge in this matter. But the long and short of it, ain't nothing about the government of St. Lucia passing a law or changing the law in relation to buggery and anal sex and this kind of nothing tal go so. You know, a law which was already there was challenged by private citizens and an organization. The judge agreed with them and said that this law is not on all fours, does not square with our constitution, the supreme law of the land. Therefore, the law must either be struck out or it must be modified, it must be reworded, whatever it is. We'll read what his order in that regard is. Stop lying on the government and on the Prime Minister to say that they went and changed the law and passed the law because they in favor of bullying, to make bullying lawful. That's not true. Nothing shall go so. And when you go on the pulpit of course we know the liars on the political platforms already. We know them. We maybe don't even expect better from them. But come on, you pastors, you ministers and so on, going and doing this kind of thing. I mean, I don't need to tell you. You're bringing yourselves under judgment because you should know better. That's the real issues for today. Thank you so very much, everyone, for having been a part of it. Do I have a minute left, Jaquan, or time is up completely? I wasn't sure whether the live read, whether I can do it, or I had to do it only once or twice. I wasn't too sure about that. But Invest St. Lucia is excited to announce its upcoming land fair taking place in Dennery on Saturday, August the 16th, 2025 from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. Join us at the grounds next to the Dennery Primary School for a day focused on making land ownership accessible, explore a variety of affordable land options, discover opportunities for land ownership, and learn about financing solutions directly from our partnering financial institutions. On that, we say goodbye till the same time tomorrow, 12:30 to 2 p.m. Shelton Daniel for The Real Issues, powered by Blue Waters, signing out.
The voice. Your hero is back. Raw facts, no fluff. Shelton Daniel is here to deal with the issues. Real issues. 12:30 p.m. to 2 p.m. Monday to Friday on Real FM.
Join the Young Labour Stars for a National Youth Vibe on Sunday, 17th August at Palm Valley in Grand Riviere, Dennery. Pull up for music, energy, and real talk. Bringing the vibes. Honorable